So hello friends, in this video we'll discuss about the key salt. Okay, what is key salting is. In the last video, if you have seen, we have discussed why we need the key salting, what was repartition skewness. So it was the example where when the demand was very high for the kheer, and and the driver need to take a call that how many chefs needed to prepare the kheer. Okay, so that driver has to calculate. Okay, so there we have seen the process. Who is the restaurant manager, who is a driver, the restaurant manager, how he break the process, or how he make the process of making the kheer, and assign each chef to the different tasks, right? So who will cut the onions, who will cut the, I mean, the process of making the kheer is cutting the cashew nuts, cashing the dry fruits, okay, cut, boiling the rice and everything, all of these things. So the driver will make sure that everything in place, like burner, knives, right, and the chefs as well, for each of the process, for each of the tasks, um, correct. So right, so once he, so if there is a lot of demand for the kheer, so it will be prepared immediately and served immediately. So let's see in the code how we will do the key salting. So key salt, you have to understand that, um, I'll ex- I'll make sure that you know about one of the function which is explode. So I've created one RDD. RDD is a form of row objects. Okay, we have discussed earlier. So data frame consists of row objects, and this is the schema. Okay, so row object has the represented by the schema. So first one is the name, known languages, and then the properties here, and the other features. Okay, so that is, with that we have created the data frame, and then we have passes the RDD and the schema. So create data frame, we have created the data frame, and if you see the data, known languages and the property, and when I use the explode function, it will explode this array into the multiple rows, right? So if you see here, it has come into multiple rows. Okay, so now I'll use for the list, next I'll use for the map. When I've used for the list, it has created the individual rows, which you can see now. Okay, James becomes Java. James has hair, eyes. Okay, has value black and brown. And then when you have run it, run it in the form of key value pair. uh, Similarly, I have used the another example for the key salt. Let's go back to, let's discuss about the key salt. So here I have created product df as already, and the product df using the sequence function, products and the producer, so which is info df, and the producer has let's say we have the id and the product id. Okay, in the product df we have the product id and the product name, and in the second thing we have discussed about the product id, uh, in which country it has been made. Okay, so I've explained you how to run this Scala in this Databricks community. Just search for the Databricks community, sign up, and you have to create the cluster, and you can run the Scala simply. If you want to understand how to run the Databricks, I can create a new video. Just comment me. So it will be run in the cloud only. You don't need to set up anything in the local. So if you see, I have created two data frame, product df Okay, product and producer, which you can say info. Okay, info df, and the product data frame. These are two, right? So now you have two data frames. What is the error? Okay, we have to change the name here. Okay, so now we have passed the info df. If you see the data, product df is there for df, right? So if you see the data, product id is the, okay, this is the id and the product, and the second thing is product id, country, price, and year. Okay, products are mapping. Id is mapping with the product id. Now we will do the join. Now we will do the join of product info and the info df. Okay, let's say if we have the huge tables, these two are the huge tables. So we have discussed, right, when we have the big tables we have, so number of partition will be more, joining will be more. Okay, there will be more clusters, there could be an issue of the out of memory. Like if we have to prepare a big meal, okay, we need more chefs to prepare it. So now what we are doing is we are dividing the tasks, okay, of break of making kheer. So here if you see how many executors and this needed, and how many chefs are needed, this is discussed by the, defined by the this is described or defined by the driver. So it will tell you, so for this value spark.sql shuffle partition 4. So this way we can create 4 partition. Okay, so driver will make only 4 partitions here. So if you run this with the iterator for each partition, so if you run this, it will tell you the list size. So for each partition it will tell you the partitions. Okay, so now we have by default it is 4 size. We have by default we have used 4. Okay, so if the data is more, it will the all the 4 partition will be used. Otherwise it will, if the data is less, it will only make 2 partitions only, right? So let's run this. Okay, so if you run this, one second. So if you run this, um, so if you see here product id and the count of the product id, see our table is very small, but still it took around 11 seconds. Yeah, it usually take around milliseconds, but not. But if you see that if the data is big, how much time it will take. Now you know the, because the it is doing the Cartesian join, that's why. Okay, so if we don't specify anything, it will take the Cartesian join, which will take a lot of time. So it depends on the data, how much the join will take depends on the data we have. So in the restaurant, if you see, if you compare with the restaurant example, it will take around 11 seconds to prepare the meal, and before that we have everything, still it take 11 seconds. Okay, we have a huge demand, we know that we have the raw material also, but still it take 11 seconds to prepare. Okay, so there are two methods where we have the key sorting, and where the driver created the labels. Okay, um, if you have to make the dry fruit, okay, it just label the tasks. of preparing kheer. So if you want to for label 1 it will be boiling the rice. Okay, label 2 will be cutting the dry fruits. Label 3 is putting everything all together. Okay, so similarly for all the preparation you have the task, right? So um, so if you see, with column we have created the left salt. Okay, and here we are in the left salt we are, what we are doing is we are concatenating product id with the salt. Okay, salt will be a number plus the partition number minus 1. Okay, so it will be 0 if it is 4 partition, it will be 0 1 2, right? So if you see, so it will be product id underscore partition number. Okay, so if you have the label of each task with the left salt, so this is your label. Okay, left salt is the name of the process, name of the label of the process, label of the task, what you can say. Okay, so 1001 underscore 2 is representing boiling the rice. Okay, so it has created the label. If you see in the Spark, it has created one label. Like the packet, you have three packets: zero packet, one packet, two packets, or the boxes you can say. So in the one packet, you can have the product ID four, or you can have the product ID one or two. Okay. So any number of data can fall into uh, any of the boxes. Okay, based on your charts. So if you see the data, okay, what I'm doing is I'm doing the group by of the left salt, aggregating the counts. Okay, so for each partition I can get the partition number, right? So I'm doing the left salt. I'm doing the group by with the left salt. Left salt means I have only three categories. So in the three categories, how much the data is getting populated. So for one, right? So if it's, let's move forward. Okay, so if you see here, with the one table I have created a left salt, with the right side I have created the other salt. Okay, so left salt is the party item product id underscore the partition number. And if you see here in the right salt, what I'm doing is similarly for the other table I'm creating the right salt. Okay, based on the id and the partition. Okay, explode has the, right, so explode also has the partition. So in the first table you have the right salt with the three label. Right salt will also have the same table. Okay, same label. So now you have your data in the three boxes of one table and the other three boxes in the other table. Now you will join these boxes one by one. Okay, join three boxes with the other three boxes. Okay, instead of joining all the data all together, you are just combining or joining the boxes. Okay, based on the product ids or product ids you have falling under the boxes or the partitions, and you're joining the partitions. Okay, so I have assigned everything to you in this video. So I hope you like this video. Thank you.